Hello, my name is Carrie, and I'm about a week out from my Inspire surgery. You might be able to see the incision on my neck, and I looked online before surgery to see if there were any postings about other people's experiences, and I found a lot of medical doctors, which was great, medical explanations and things like that, and there were a lot of testimonials. Um, but I didn't find a whole lot of perhaps practical information that would have been a little bit more beneficial for me going into the surgery. So I thought I would make a video, and specifically, I hadn't found any videos that were made by women, and there are just a couple of things that I think uh, maybe are a little bit different about a woman's experience over a man. So I thought maybe I would just offer my experience. So I had my surgery a week ago Thursday, and I thought I would just walk you through the whole thing. I had a great doctor. I wish I would have asked him how long my surgery was going to take, because that would have given me some clue as to how much exposure I would have to anesthesia. Um, Before I go any further, I should tell you that I am not a medical professional. This is not medical advice. This is just my experience, and I'm just sharing it as a way for anybody out there to be able to be a little bit more prepared as they embark on this big thing. Sleep apnea is a big deal, and it can cause some serious health complications in life. And so having solutions that work for many people, having many solutions that work for many people is a really good thing. Um, I'm not a fan of CPAP, which is why I chose this option, and I think that's why a lot of people choose this option to have the hypoglossal nerve stimulator implant. And I had the Inspire device. I'm not aware of any others. There might be other brands on the market, but that's the one I chose. So, just a little timeline. When I went to the hospital, first of all, I met with my doctor a week before my surgery to go over any final questions I had. And I was able to talk to him about things that I had heard about with other people's experiences, um, mainly pain, any disabling effects that were temporary from the surgery, um, recovery time, things like that. Um, so that was all good. I felt, very well informed, had a good chat with him. When we showed up to the hospital, it was first thing in the morning, and they immediately started me on the IV. And what I thought was really great was the Inspire rep came and talked to me before the surgery, in addition to the anesthesiologist and my doctor. And so I was able to have a conversation with each one of them. And she filled in a lot of gaps too. One of the most interesting things that she told me was that during surgery, they activate the nerve quite a bit to get correct placement for the cuff and see how your tongue responds to the different electrical stimuli. And she said that because they do that, when you come out of surgery, you can feel like your tongue is kind of worn out. And so I don't know if you can tell with my speech, but my tongue is worn out. Um, Nerves also take a long time to heal. And so the 6 week recovery time that they give you between your surgery and your activation date, um, you really need that entire 6 weeks. There are lots of testimonials of people who say after a couple of days they were fine and right back at it, things were great, and good on them. That was fantastic. I am not that person. I am going to take the full 6 weeks to recover. So when I came out of surgery, it was a 3-hour surgery for me. Everyone is different. Everyone is different. It's going to depend on your anatomy. If you've got scar tissue from previous injuries, just all kinds of things. So mine was 3 hours. It took me quite a while to come out of anesthesia. And by the time I got home and was able to rest, I can't stress enough to take your pain medication as soon as you get home, because you want that already in your system when all the stuff from the hospital wears off. And I would say I kept up the narcotic painkiller for, I don't know, about 48 hours, and then was able to move right on to like Tylenol, ibuprofen. Um, so I didn't feel like I needed the narcotic pain relief um, for a very long time. So just for that, maybe 48 hours. I don't know. I think I took like 3, 4 pills maybe. Um, so coming home, some things that I did to help prepare for being home is I have a wedge pillow, and that helped me be propped up while I was sleeping and was a lot more comfortable for me than laying flat on my back. It also helps with my breathing while I'm sleeping because of the incision. My CPAP mask and everything would have interfered with that, and so I haven't used my CPAP since I got home from the hospital. So sleeping elevated has been very helpful for me. So I recommend that. For women, one of the things that has been really helpful for the incision on my chest is wearing a soft bra. So no underwire or anything like that. Just a nice, soft, stretchy bra that's comfortable to wear. It really helps support that incision and all that tissue. So I recommend that. And if you have swelling or want to put an ice pack on, it holds the ice pack in place nicely too. Um, the doctor will probably advise you not to use your right arm and lift things. And that's really important, really important. I've noticed that some people, the doctor gave them a sling to wear just to remind them not to use their arm. Um, so whatever you need to do, just try not to do that because it affects your chest incision. Um, so what does this feel like? Um, I'm not going to show you the incision on my chest because it's kind of far down, if that's okay. But it looks like this one. It's about the same length, and it's straight across right here. And mine are closed with internal stitches and with glue. Some people have steri strips that like butterfly closures that hold the incision together. So it's, whatever you and your doctor talked about. Um, some people are allergic to certain kinds of surgical adhesives, and so you want to definitely have that conversation because you're going to have that on for several weeks, and if you're allergic to the adhesive, it's going to be miserable. You'll just be itchy, and it won't be fun. Have that conversation. And if you've never had the steri strip adhesive on you before, maybe your doctor can do a little test sample or something on your arm just to see if you have a reaction. But yeah, I would definitely find that out. So what does this feel like? I'll do this first and then I'll talk about this. So this just feels tight. It does not feel like I have something in me. The device itself is about the size of an Oreo cookie, and the rep told me that the doctor told me they insert it under your muscle in between your ribs. And so it doesn't protrude. I do not have any sort of a lump, like you can see it or anything. And once the wound heals, I'm sure it will just, like, I probably won't even notice it. I just notice the tightness of just having something in there. It's a foreign object in my body, so my body has to get used to having a new thing in there. And then the lead goes up here, and there's a little tenderness, just a little. I mean, I'm not poking myself every day or anything. Going up to here. And then from this incision, the hypoglossal nerve is in here. I don't know if you can see, but there's just a little bit of swelling right here. I've been icing from the first time I got home. I highly recommend that. If you're someone that might experience quite a bit of swelling um, or a lot of pain, the ice really helps with the pain. So that's this area. It's really not bad at all. The only time I really notice it is if I unconsciously reach for something with my right arm, and then I'm like, oh, don't do that. You know, it's not ready to take the weight of lifting anything like above maybe a water bottle or something. Okay, so let's talk about this. So my reactions when from the time I got home is, first of all, the hypoglossal nerve. I learned, you could look this up. I would look up on your search engine, hypoglossal nerve stimulator, and select images. And it'll show you what it looks like under the skin, basically. So the hypoglossal nerve runs along your jawline up to your ear. It has little branches, like a branch of a tree, that go into your tongue and into your chin. And those nerves are all connected, you know, to other nerves that go up the back of your head, up your temple. And so the pain that you might experience, if any, will be associated with that nerve being messed with, basically. And then depending on how long it takes you to heal generally from things, is what you can expect in terms of, you know, how long you're going to be feeling it. So for me, I've had a pretty consistent kind of earache. It's internal, and it's very much nerve pain. I have had a headache up the back of my head here, but it is dulling with time. So it started out really, really strong, and then it's dulling. So like I said, I'm a week out from my surgery, so the first few days were pretty, I was in a fair amount of pain. I also have pain here in my neck, and so what I experience, because all of these things are connected, is that when I swallow water, food, whatever, I feel the pain from this, and then it radiates, okay? And so that's just my experience. And again, it has diminished over the week, and Tylenol and ibuprofen help with it, pretty much. As far as my tongue is concerned, because this was the side that was impacted, half of my tongue, I have temporary paralysis, which sounds really scary. I promise it's not. It just means half my tongue's not working right now. I do feel little things happening every once in a while. I just don't have full control of it, of the muscle. And so it makes chewing difficult, speaking a little bit difficult. But again, that is going to improve over time and is not an abnormality. It's actually a little, it's not uncommon for people to experience some type of impact on their speech and swallowing, even like their lip might not fully come back. It really feels a lot like if you went to the doctor to have a cavity filled and they gave you Novocaine and you have that sort of like limp, swollen feeling in your mouth. That's kind of how it feels. If I touch right here, it's a little bit numb, just in these little areas, just right in here. But again, that is also improving with time. I fully expect the entire 6-week recovery time to be necessary for me to get through all this. Food. One of the things that I underestimated two things. I grossly underestimated my recovery time and the impact of this surgery on my body, because I was only seeing testimonials of people that had had much less impact. And like I said, good on them. But that was one of the reasons I wanted to do this video, because there's plenty of us out there that are having this experience. That being said, that doesn't mean that I wouldn't do this again. I would totally do this again. The outcomes far outweigh any discomfort I might be having right now. I'm looking at a life sentence of sleep apnea. It's not going to improve. And so the opportunity to have this kind of technology available to assist me with this condition throughout the rest of my life is very appealing, even though this particular experience has been more challenging than I anticipated. But yeah, I would 100% do this again. I just would have liked to have had a little more information to prepare better, I guess. So the final thing is food. I have found that warm liquids are more soothing on my throat right now than something cold. I was having smoothies initially, and drinking through a straw the first couple of days was an absolute necessity because of all the, like, I was totally numb. And so I had to drink through the straw or it would just like come right back out again. But I found over the course of the last week that I've been able to give up the straw and just drink straight from the cup, and that's been great. And so, but the warm, clear liquids are definitely the easiest thing to eat right now. It feels very soothing on my throat, and it isn't as painful to swallow. I've tried cold smoothies and it just, I think they're just too thick and a little bit like you have to use the muscles in the back of your throat to suck something thick, and so it's the clear liquids are just easier. Applesauce, I've warmed up applesauce and that has actually been not bad at all. The first 2 or 3 days, because you're intubated when you're in surgery, that tube in your throat also contributes to your throat being sore. So I would hold off on anything acidic for the first couple of days. I was drinking herbal teas and bone broth and like coconut milk and things like that. Or juices that had like coconut milk in it. Those were the most soothing. I tried I tried to eat tomato basil soup right out of the gate, and that just like lit up my throat. It burned because it was just too acidic. And I love tomato soup. But anyway, so right now, a week out, what I'm eating still are I'm eating cream soups because I'm not getting a whole lot of calories every day, and I want to keep my energy up. So I'm eating cream soups. Mashed potatoes work pretty good. Applesauce. Um, Herbal teas, and that's about it. So you might find you lose a few pounds. Not a bad thing, I guess. um, but pace yourself for sure. Do not be in a hurry. If there's one thing I know about all of this is that this is a long game. Long game. You have the surgery. I mean, even the preparation before the surgery, you have to meet with your doctor. You have to see if you meet the criteria for this surgery because there are criteria that have to be met. Um, then you have to have an endoscopy to see how your apnea is, like what's your biology there? How does your throat react? Because this meets a very specific apnea. Um, then after that, you have to see, is my insurance going to cover this, or can I afford to pay out of pocket for it? So from just start to surgery, it was a couple of months. And then now surgery to activation is going to be at least 6 weeks, depending on what happens with this temporary paralysis. Who knows? Maybe it'll take a little longer. Some people just get infections and they have to wait a little longer to heal. There's all kinds of variables that can happen. And I don't want to qualify any of it as bad. It's just part of the process. Once you're activated, it takes several months for your body to respond to the stimuli to get to the level that is providing optimal health for you and open airway for your sleeping. So then you do another sleep study. So honestly, I mean, it's probably like 9, maybe even like 12 months start to finish to really get to a place where you're like, yeah, I have this now. I have it set. I feel great. I'm healed. And I'm experiencing the positive impact of this technology. So I hope this helps you out. And feel free to ask any questions in the comments. Like I said, I'm not a nurse. I'm not a doctor. These are just things that I've thought of, and this is just my experience. So if I think about it, in a couple of weeks, maybe I'll do another video to see if my speech is improving and let you know how I'm doing on the pain. But I hope any of you who are thinking about this as an option for you, that you'll do your research, know how your body heals, prepare for your surgery and your aftercare. I underestimated my after surgery time from being down, 2 or 3 days to really needing a full week, if not week and a half, like 10 days for me, from my recovery. So plan accordingly and have people available to help you, because you're not going to be able to do dishes and you're going to be sleepy and tired, and you're going to maybe have a moment of feeling discouraged if the pain's really bothering you, and you need that support system. So don't get discouraged, be patient, and know that there's a whole community of us out here that that are going through the same thing. So good luck to you.